Wow, is that ever purple? Oh my, Matt. It's very purple. Okay, I'm gonna show you guys the boat, but before I do, I wanna tell you everything that I learned from painting a sailboat, because I made all kinds of mistakes and stuff, but I'm gonna give you a real quick rundown on everything that I learned. First thing is about sanders. Regular random orbital 5-inch sanders. You can get a box of sanding pads on Amazon like this. It was like 30 bucks. They're all hook and loop, and it comes with sizes like anywhere from, I think it starts at 60 and goes up to like 800. Get a couple boxes of these because it's everything you need, and it's like 60 bucks for 2 boxes of it. It's wonderful. But all sanders, I guess, are not created equal, because this one that I showed you is a skill and it's not hooked up to the motor anymore. This one failed after, I don't know, the first 2 hours of consecutive use. The one that held up the entire time was the DeWalt, which is obviously a complete mess, and there's bottom paint pouring out of it, but it still works, and it works great, and it's wonderful. So DeWalt for sure, corded, not battery, because you're sanding for hours and hours and hours, so battery wouldn't work. I also tried a Swirly Boy. This is a polisher that just spins. It's not, doesn't randomly oscillate. What this does is it cuts really good, but it leaves swirl marks and it kind of makes a mess. So I wasn't a big fan of this 6-inch pad, so that's kind of nice, but I didn't use it a whole lot. I thought I'd use it more. The yard let me borrow one of theirs. It's a big 6-inch like this, but it was so aggressive that just after you sanded with it, you had to go back over it with a different sander just to get rid of all the gouges and everything. So too aggressive. This is too swirly. The 5-inch DeWalt, absolutely 100% of the time. So that's sanding. Lady K was covered with stripes. I had to go 40 grit down to get through the stripes to get everything level. And then I had to jump to 80, then 120, 180, and I finished off at 220 before I started applying primer, and then I applied primer. But while I was priming, I noticed a lot of imperfections in the boat. So I used this stuff, which is like so been out in the sun you can't even read it anymore, but it's Interlux watertight. It's a 2-part epoxy filler. You take a scoop of one and a scoop of the other, you put it on some cardboard, you end up with cardboard that looks like this. You get your Bondo scraper, which is now glued to it, but you get your Bondo scraper and you mix the two parts together until they're all one color. They turn about that color, and then you spread it on. And when you spread it with this, spread it nice and thin and make a nice finish on the side, and you can sand it down and it'll look like there was never a scratch there at all. It's really easy to use. I'm not a body repair person, and I'm not ever been very good at that stuff, but that was really easy. This stuff for sure. Interlux watertight. And then priming was just regular rollers. This is sort of a medium nap roller. Pettit, whose primer I used, Pettit Easy Prime to use with Easy Poxy, they call for a very short nap roller, 3 mil or less than 1/4 inch. And I did find some of those. This is not one of them. This is like a 3/8, but they're shorter than this. Rolling with one of these and a telescopic roller, no problem. And then I have one of the smaller foam rollers. And I did the bottom paint with one of these, a smaller one, because it gets into the weird curvature of the bottom and around the keel and everything much better. Very, very useful. Also Amazon, and you can get boxes of these things, and they're just foam. Also, before I sanded, I wiped the whole thing down with a de-waxing agent. I used a green Scotch-Brite pad and washed the boat very thoroughly with a de-waxer. And then before priming, Pettit wants you to use their brushing thinner, so wipe the whole boat down with brushing thinner to make sure that any oils and different things are off the hull. Or regular acetone, you kind of need both. And then, once priming was done, I hit it with 220 again with the DeWalt, and then primed again, so 2 coats of primer, and then it was time for paint. So Pettit Easy Poxy, you can kind of see the color already. I used 1 can per side, and I ended up using, I think, 3 cans in total to do both sides and the transom. 1 coat, but a fairly heavy coat, but there's 2 coats of primer under it. The alternative was to do 1 coat of primer and 2 coats of paint, but the primer is like $30 cheaper. This is 120 Canadian a quart, and the primer is 100 Canadian a quart. So it's not cheap stuff. So 2 coats of this, 1 coat of that, and it turned out great. Very, very happy with it. There's 2 more things I want to show you guys. You got to get these swirly boys for your drill, because they make mixing the paint so much easier. Everything mixes fast. And I started using these with my epoxy too. And I wanted to show you guys my epoxy kit because this is so handy. I built a wooden box. I've got my West System resin and my hardener, slow hardener, and they hang over the side so you can actually pump them without taking them out of the box. I've got all my different fiberglass, a scraper, popsicle sticks for stirring, these little measuring cups to measure out paint thinner and things like that. We've got some more resin in there, polyester resin should I need it. I've got high density filler to make thickened epoxy. Got solo cups. I mix all my epoxy in solo cups. Got my disposable vinyl gloves, more fiberglass. I've got chip brushes, a whole box full of chip brushes from Amazon because you go through those like crazy. Epoxy rollers, and then paint brushes and more stir sticks and just sort of random stuff. And always lots of the Bondo scrapers. Definitely something you always want to have with you. That's my kit, and I can go do any fiberglass repair on my boat right now by just bringing that box. So it makes life so much easier. And now I use these to mix the epoxy when you put the hardener in, and it mixes so much faster. Life is so much better. And when you're making thickened epoxy, use the drill thing, and it's like a quarter the amount of time, and it gives you more time to work before it starts to kick. So awesome to have one of these. And sort of the last couple of things I learned from painting a boat is I thought it would be harder than it was. It actually wasn't very difficult. Everybody says like it's impossible, and you start reading on the internet and it's so intimidating and there's so much to know, and which paint and which temperature, and do you have to tent the boat, can you spray it rolling and tipping, like all this stuff. It's really not that hard. Paint is just paint. It's like painting anything. It's not that sophisticated, it's not that complicated, it's just a lot of sanding. I sanded, I've been at it for probably 2 months now, or 6 weeks that I've been going to the boat. The boat's about an hour away, so that kind of sucks. Drive to the boat on the days with good weather, you know, work on the boat for 3 or 4 hours, and then come home and do my normal job and take care of my normal life. One thing about painting a boat is your life will be a mess. My truck has been a mess for 2 months. There's paint all over the inside of it. My garage is an absolute disaster because the boat painting job is all encompassing. It takes every ounce of energy. It takes every inch of my garage. The whole truck's just been full of painting stuff for months and months and months. It is a lot to put into your life to paint a boat, particularly when that boat is an hour away. If it was sitting in my driveway, it might be a different story. It probably would have been a lot easier, but having to drive an hour and then forgetting something, or you know, the weather doesn't turn out, or you get there and you're just exhausted by the time you get there. It's just so much going on to paint a boat that you need the time in your life and you need the energy to do it. It's a big job. But anyway, let's go look at the boat. Because if we fuck it up and we put them in the wrong place, we don't have more and we'll ruin them.
Woo. I would say farther left, but that's just me. Unless you're putting the turtle on the left side.
Straight.
Holy shit, it's Lady K.
How's it going, man?
What's going on? Oh,
Oh, how are you, Tim?
Luke, man. Nice to meet you, man. Yeah. What are you doing her up,
Tim.
Matt? Yeah.
Yeah, she needed paint, right?
Yeah.
Like that?
Yes, that's better. Give it a little more. Stop. You're good.
Okay, I want to give you everything I learned about painting a boat from painting this boat, starting at the end and working my way back forward, because that's the way I remember it. And the place where I cheated, so I used Pettit Easy Poxy because the internet said it was the easiest thing to use, and that it would be very easy to roll and tip. And roll and tip is where you roll it with a roller and then you chase it with a paintbrush to get the roller marks out of it. Well, I didn't tip it at all anywhere. And you can see on the finish, there's no roller marks anywhere. There's dust and stuff, but there's no marks anywhere. There's a little bit of orange peel. And the way I got away with not tipping it was I had the paint tray on the ground and I would put the roller in it and I would start, and I would do about 3 feet at a time. And as the roller started to run out of paint, I would sort of double back about 3 stripes, 3 roller widths over the part I had just done. And I would get more paint and do the next 3 feet and double back over the next, or the last roller section. And then more paint, do another 3 feet, and then double back sort of 6 feet. And as I did that and doubled back every time, it got rid of the roller marks immediately. So you can see the finish. I don't know if you're gonna be able to pick it up on camera, but there's an ever so slight orange peel to it. That's kind of there. It doesn't have a texture, but it definitely has an orange peel to it. And what I heard from all the guys that use Pettit is if it's exactly 72 degrees outside, it'll lay flat, it won't orange peel. If it's 71 or 73, it'll orange peel. So there's no way to get it exactly 72 degrees outside. I tried the best I could to paint when it was like around 72, but I still got a lot of this like very, very faint orange peel in the paint, which is totally acceptable if you ask me. But there are no roller marks, there's no brush marks, there's no marks of any kind without having to tip whatsoever. And then I did not do a boot stripe because I don't want one. I don't see the point. I understand it's to see the water level, but you can see the water level against my bottom paint, where the bottom paint meets the top paint. And I think one solid color is a very good look. I don't think the boot stripe is necessary. So we're gonna go and peel the thing off and get the first look at Lady K and her new theme. Let's do it. I was just gonna walk up and peel the Lady K thing off, but I feel like it's gonna rip or something, so Matt's gonna bring the truck around. I would like to be up there. Okay. Wait, good. Wow, is that ever purple? Oh my, Matt. It's very purple. Whew. Look at how purple that is. Yeah. Anyway, hope you guys liked the video. Sorry, I'm a mess. Everything's a mess. I just want to thank all the patrons who support this channel. This channel wouldn't exist without you guys. The goal at Lady K Sailing has always been to get more people sailing more easily. And the people that support that goal, that's what makes it all possible. If you'd like to help out, please consider becoming a patron. The boat goes in the water tomorrow, and I'm sailing it home on Sunday. Saturday's bad weather, so it's going to be Sunday. If you're local on the Great Lakes and you want to pop by, it'll be going from LaSalle to Lighthouse Cove Sunday, pretty much all day. Hope to see you out there. If not, I will see you in the next video. Love you guys.